gonna get started here. So guys, we got a special treat for you, but before we get into it, you guys know the deal. All right. Let's get the cameras on. So Caleb can feel your energy. All right, he's gonna go as hard as you guys go, right? So the other part about this is it's kind of like a roller coaster, keep all hands and feet inside the vehicle while it's moving, right? We're gonna give you guys some opportunities to get some Q&A with Caleb at the end, but I want to make sure that y'all are able to pick up the gems that he's gonna drop for you guys today. So before I turn it over to him, man, I kind of want to give you guys a little bit about Caleb, man. Caleb is a 2 Comma Club Award winner. He's the founder of adclass.com. He's also an expert in the field of kind of growing startups to 8 figures. With that, guys, he helps business owners by coaching them on ads, but also how to convert those ads into profit. So he's been hired by multiple startups to be a director inside of their business to help them create their dreams into reality. And the thing that I think I love most about Caleb from what I got from him and kind of what I got from doing my research, man, Caleb is one of those guys that really believe and is a firm believer that he's not what's called self-made, he's what's called team-made. He believes that it's the team that helps him get to where he went. So without further ado, man, I'm gonna let Caleb, I'm gonna let you take it away, man.
Dude, Bobby, what an intro. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. What's going on, guys? My name is Caleb Cruz. Absolutely stoked to be here and just chat with you guys for a bit. Yeah, super curious, like what kind of offers you guys are running. I've been in the space for a bit and we're going to dive into some slides here. I've got a presentation that I can kind of walk through on basically the exact process that we've used to scale up a bunch of other companies. So we'll kind of dive into it. And then like Bobby said, we'll dive into some Q&A at the end. So if you guys have any like ad related questions, funnel related questions, marketing related questions, super happy to dive into whatever you guys want to chat about. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Bobby, anything else before we dive in?
No, man. Hey, the floor is yours, man. Tell them about success, tell them about, the team aspects. I mean, whatever you got, man, we're here to learn from you, man.
Heck yeah, this is gonna be fun. Sweet, guys. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick and do a slideshow here so that you guys can see the full screen. And yeah, guys, like feel free to throw questions in the chat too, like as we dive into this. If you guys have questions and I don't see them or whatever, Bobby, if you just want to like shout out and be like, yo, they got a question, just let me know in case I don't see it. But yeah, guys, the thing that I can talk about all day long is definitely going to be the marketing side of this stuff. So that's kind of where like my whole world and what I've lived in. So like Bobby was saying, we got the big ClickFunnels award. We scaled up a real estate offer that essentially was like a wholesale offer that went into a creative finance offer that ultimately then upsold into a franchise offer. And that's what this is. Like, that's what this award was specifically for. But in that world, right, I was like one team member of a really big team that made this happen. But I lived in the marketing world, right? So I just want to make sure that that's super clear. So if you guys want to dive into anything on like how any of that process worked, just please throw it in the chat and we can dive in. Some of the people we've worked with. So we work with Dean and Tony. I don't know if you guys know Pace Morby, Jamil Damji, these dudes. We launched their offers. So launched sub2.com with Pace, which was a ton of fun. Astro flipping with Jamil. We run ads still now to this day for Jay Shetty, if you guys know him as a life coach. Tim Sykes on the stock stuff. We run all of his ads. Tarek El Musa from HGTV. So he was like he's the dude that did Flip or Flop. Rob Dial, just a couple of our clients here. So just know that like when we're running ads, like we're running them for like the coaches and the consultants, if that makes sense super clear. So we're really world class at one thing. It's just helping great companies scale with paid advertising. This is our team. So small team, but a mighty team, and we make it happen. So yeah, I love everybody in this photo. We got all the kiddos here too. It's this was our trip in January. We went up north and hung out in the snow a bit. So cool. All right. So 3 things that I want to chat about in this training. Number 1 is I'm going to talk about like winning message and copy. So because this is the foundation of it all, guys, you got to actually have good message and a good copy and a good offer. The rest of it doesn't work if you don't have that. Number 2 is we're going to dive into the actual ads. right? So talk about what it takes to make a winning ad, what platforms actually work, right? And then lastly, we're going to talk about funnels that actually work. So if you're going to run traffic or you're going to send leads to any place, right? Where do you want to send them, right? What's the funnel that's actually going to work for this? Okay. So, sweet. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah. Pace is fire. Lynn, you know, Pace. That's awesome. Yeah. I love Pace. Absolutely awesome, dude. All right, cool. So let's dive into winning messaging copy. And remember guys, like any questions at all, like I want to be as insanely helpful to you as possible here. So just seriously throw stuff in the chat. Like I'm here to help. So, all right. This is the most important thing. Okay. Messaging copy and offer is the most important thing. So if you're going to spend time on anything, spend time here. I can't tell you how many people in this space, like in the coaching, in the online, in the digital space, they are so fixated on like the funnel and the ads and like the silver bullet, right? That's going to make them a millionaire. I'm telling you that what it really comes down to is crafting a super dope offer that your audience is actually going to like. And that takes good copy. It takes good messaging. It takes good positioning. So spend your time here and then let the other stuff kind of just like fall into place. So if your message sucks, everything else is going to suck. Like your ads aren't going to work. Your funnel is not going to work. This is basically the most important thing. So really quick example of this. Okay. So we've got person A and person B here. So agency owner A, he says that he runs YouTube ads for e-com stores. Okay. His MRR, or his monthly reoccurring revenue, is probably $20,000 a month in this example. Agency owner B also runs YouTube ads for e-com stores, but her monthly reoccurring revenue is $90,000 a month. Okay. So what's the difference between these two people? They're doing the exact same thing pretty much on the offer side, right? But there's a big difference in their revenue. Okay. So the difference is that business owner A is probably out there saying, we run YouTube ads for e-com stores. Okay. He's saying the same thing that everybody else is saying. Business owner B has actually thought a little bit about what her unique process is, right? So she says, we scale e-com stores with our YT checkout system. Okay, so she's thought through a unique mechanism and she's adding a little bit of intrigue to that. So the reason that that's important, guys, is because you need a USP. So to make an actually good, compelling offer, you actually have to have a unique selling proposition. Okay, so spend time doing this. If you don't have a USP, or you're like, what the heck is a USP? This should help. Okay. So here's a really quick template that I pretty much use every single time that I'm crafting a new offer. And it's a really straightforward template that you can kind of plug and play into your own stuff. But it basically goes like this. So I show target market how to achieve result without pain point by a unique strategy. Okay. So an example of that in an actual business would be, I show Shopify store owners how to scale past $1 million a month in sales without needing UGC or user generated content by using our YT checkout system, right? So take some time to do this, guys. Screenshot this, save it. It's a really helpful template to make sure that you can communicate this, because not only is it going to help on your marketing, but as your company scales, right? Which the whole goal of this is to like have a really good offer, grow a team, build an actual business. When you're hiring people and you're training people and all that starts happening, this ends up becoming like a core part of if your company is actually going to work or not. Because if your marketing side is saying one thing about what you do, and your sales side is saying a different thing about what you do, and your fulfillment team thinks that you do something else, it's an absolute crap show. So make sure that you take some time to actually have this. Yeah, screenshot it if you need to. Another really quick example, you guys can screen this one too. This is like a little bit different twist on what I just did before. This one, it kind of focuses on being able to bring out what's actually happening in the market right now. Okay. So here's a quick example of this one. Target market is currently doing the thing that everyone is doing right now. Okay. That doesn't work because of this pain point. But my unique strategy, it doesn't care about that pain point, and it allows me to drive this result. Right. So an example of that in an actual business, Shopify store owners are currently relying on UGC to sell their products, user generated content. That doesn't work because getting new user generated content is inconsistent and unreliable, right? That's the pain point. But my YT checkout system, my YouTube checkout system, it doesn't care about getting UGC, and it's allowed me to scale past $1 million a month in sales. So you can see how it's still communicating what the USP is, but it's kind of taking what everybody else is doing in the marketplace and addressing that as like, it doesn't work because of this pain. Here's why my thing is better, right? So these are really good practices, guys. For those of you guys that like have killer offers and stuff, you might be like, this is, you know, like good stuff for just kind of the beginner stage. But if you're like in the launch process, or you're just like cracking the code on your offer, do this, like definitely do this. Okay. All right. So congruence is key. This is another thing that I like to drive home on the offer side, is that like your offer and the entire way that your marketing is set up is like a bunch of chain links. Okay. Like we all know the whole weakest link thing, right? If one link in the chain is broken, the whole rest of the chain breaks. This is what I mean by this. Okay. So here's ads. I told you guys we run ads for Tariq Musa. This is like one just really quick example of what this looks like. So when we're running ads, right, and we're building traffic or sending traffic to a funnel, we want to make sure that all of the messaging is congruent. Okay. What we don't want is to say one thing in the ad, a different thing on the lander, a different thing in the VSL. VSL is just a video sales letter. If you guys don't know what that is, or if some of you don't know what that is, I'm sure plenty of you definitely do. But what the point here is, you got to make sure your messaging is consistent. Okay, guys, because if you're driving an ad and they end up watching the video and you're talking about something totally different in the video. So in this example, right, he runs a real estate offer. If in the ad, I'm talking about wholesaling, but then my whole VSL is like, he's focused on like fix and flips or something totally different, it's a huge breakdown. Okay. So I will tell you guys that whenever I get injected into big companies, I'm talking like 10 figure, like, eight and 9 figure companies, when I get injected into their marketing departments, this is probably the biggest thing and the biggest reason why I see companies break down, right? When they're coming and they're like, hey, we just can't seem to scale up. We're not sure what's going on. There's been like a huge dip in sales. It's almost always this. It's because like the team's gotten big and inflated, and then the messaging just totally breaks down. And like everything is saying something different. Okay. So congruency, super key. Good example here of how that works. Just add to landing page to VSL, everything kind of saying the same sort of a deal. All right. So that was the messaging and the offer portion. Any questions there before I start talking about ads? Anybody have anything, or Bobby, is it classic for us to just kind of wait until the end for questions?
Oh, dude, man, if you want to take questions in the middle, that's cool too. You know, if anybody has them, but if everybody's just like want to let you roll, man, we'll just let you roll and ask at the end.
Cool. Well, let's do it. Anybody who's got questions? Come on, let's chat a little bit. Anybody off that first section? Anything that's got? Okay, sweet. Oscar, what's up, dude? What do you got for me, man?
Hey, man, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, bro.
Thank you. You have such a different level and approach to learning. So how is it that you yourself dissect new information to be able to apply it and help, you know, advertise or market somebody's product? Like, what's your thought process when you do it?
Yeah. Oh man. That's a pretty deep question, man. I mean, there's a lot to it. I guess like, so when you're asking, like when I'm diving into a business and I'm looking at their marketing to figure out what works, is your question like, how do you dive in and help a specific problem? Or like, how do we like, yeah, I guess just like, could you get a little bit more specific there with what you're asking?
Yes. So when I mean like, how do you dissect new information? I mean like, how do you address a problem? Like, do you find things, do you really have like a framework that, you know, it's kind of like a process of elimination? Like, okay, if we can't do this, then we have to do this.
Sweet. Yeah. Thank you so much for rewording that. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, so absolutely. So one of the first things that we do when we're coming in and we're looking at, okay, what's working in a company, is we look at the actual KPIs that they're hitting right now. So KPIs meaning key performance indicators. Typically in this world, right, of online offers, especially if we're talking high ticket specifically, KPIs are pretty similar across the board for the different companies that you hop into. So meaning like I can step into a high ticket call funnel and I can understand like, okay, this is what like cost per click should look like. This is what cost per lead should look like. This is what cost per call should look like. This is what show up rate should look like. This is what close rate should look like. This is what the cost to acquire new customers should look like, right? There's all of these different like key performance indicator metrics that you just kind of start to learn whenever you look at enough of these things. And that's the first step, man, is like jumping into that and being like, okay, what do these KPIs look like, and getting clean data. So to answer your question, honestly, man, step one is like, show me the data, show me what's going on. and let's start to pinpoint like where do we see the drop off, where do we see and where can we highlight issues that are like prominent. I don't know if that helps or not, but
that was perfect. Thank you very much.
yeah, for sure. Cool. Dexter, Tyrone, I'm not sure which one of you guys were next, but whichever one you wants to jump in, let's go.
I'll hop on. Kind of on your previous slide, I seen how you were talking about the ad, the landing page, and I think there were 3 things. Okay, the ad, the landing page, and then the VSL. I was curious because I always see sometimes people have on Facebook, they have those lead forms where it's like the form is built into the ad. If you use that, does that make the kind of conversion process easier, like with the messaging? I was thinking about that, like when you showed this, I was like, wonder if I could do that with mine.
Amazing question, bro. Amazing question. So, so the short answer, which this is like the answer that you're going to hear in marketing all the time, is like both could totally work. So test it, right? So that's honestly the actual truth, is you can do both. I will say that, like, historically speaking, I've tested both, and I really like sending traffic specifically to a landing page. I feel like the copy is able to be communicated a little bit better there. And there's some additional things that you can do on the tracking side and split test side to kind of like help boost conversion. So for me, I get a little bit more control out of having my own landing page in the design and all of that stuff too. And the other piece that I've noticed is that, like, you also get a little bit higher intent, because if someone's clicking off to the page and they're reading some of that stuff and then they're opting in, you get a little bit more of a better quality lead, in my personal opinion. And then lastly is that, like, Facebook also saves contact data. So if you're going to do a Facebook lead form, sometimes, like, people that have been on Facebook forever, they might have like outdated contact information that they just use to autofill stuff. And so you can kind of get like, so yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that that's bad, right? Like, you can
but those are all good factors I didn't even consider. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, for sure. But really good question, man. Yeah, I've seen both work. So dude, yeah, definitely test it. But my personal preference is going to be for the landing page.
And then is it because when they hit the page, the pixel will track them? That's another thing that you can take advantage of. And then the lead form, necessarily, they don't hit a page, so there is no pixel.
Right. You're with the lead form, you're going more based off of like engagement metrics. So like on Facebook platform, you can look at things like click and like, you know, all of the different engagement metrics that come with an actual form. But then on the flip side, on the landing page, you're looking at like an actual completed reg event or like a lead event or some sort of like action that was taken. So,
Gotcha. But
yeah, dude, really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Sweet. Okay, Tyrone, what's going on, man?
Hey, quick, kind of like 2 questions, man, and I'm glad to see you here, man. Pleasure to have you. My question, one relates to the ads. Like on these ads, some of these ads, when you like basically on your opt-in page, okay, the length of the ad. I mean, like you have some people have like pages over. What is the like kind of like the length of your ad that you use as like your standard? Would you go by?
Yeah. So are you talking like length of a video ad that's being shown on platform, or are you talking about like landing page, sales page?
The landing page and the sales page.
Really good question. Okay. So yeah, this is like a strategy question, right? Like, what do I go for, like short form? Do I go for long form? Like, what's the goal of the funnel? So what I'll tell you is that, typically speaking, when you're going after a lower ticket item, or it's like a sort of an ascension model. So what I mean by that is like coming in for something that's like $100 or less, then you get like an OTO or like a one-time offer, right? Like an order bump, that kind of stuff. When you're going with that route, definitely longer form copy is needed. Okay. There's actually a really great dude. I don't know if you guys know Alan Sultanic by chance. He runs a community called Nothing Held Back. I always like to shout him out because, like, in my opinion, I don't think there's like very many people who are running low ticket like as successfully as he's doing right now. So definitely check him out. Just a little shout out there. But I typically see that longer form happening there with like the lower ticket items. High ticket can be sold right into that mix, but it's usually not like long form to like some sort of like checkout with a high ticket, right? That's not typically what I ever see work. If you're going to do long form to high ticket, it's going to be with that ascension, meaning like people are reading all of this. They opt in for something that's like $50, maybe $100. You're building rapport with them and like they're experiencing the value from that product. And then that product is like in turn slowly warming them up into some sort of other additional backend sale. That's typically what I see. But what I'll tell you is that my preference is not doing long form copy. Now I'll do long form copy on the ads. I like writing long ads in terms of like copy. So like, as you can see here in this, where I'm sharing my screen, that's just like a couple of lines of copy. The ad is like 7 times longer than that. So like if I was to click like read more or whatever, the actual copy in the ad is longer. So I believe in that. But for me, like in the high ticket world, like I like to go straight to closer or setter. And so in that model, I like to keep the copy short and to the point and have the prospect spend more of their time watching content. So like inside of a video sales letter or a webinar, and then moving into like a call with the team, right? And so that's my personal preference, but I don't know. Hopefully that answered the question.
You did. Thank you.
Cool. Of course. Yeah. Sweet. Seth, let's jump into your question real quick, and then we'll dive back into the slides. What's going on, Seth?
This is just real quick. So since you just talked about long form and short form copy, could you utilize DIC framework to then get them to an opt-in page? Like that would probably work the best. Is what to most people around their 20s, they're like scrolling in social media aimlessly. So if you get that disruption, force them to focus on what you're trying to sell, would that work the best?
Yeah, for sure, man. So like disrupting, right? It's all about like stopping the scroll, right? So like getting the scroll to stop, getting them to like take a second and be like, okay, cool. What is this person saying? Getting them really hooked in, right? The whole like, like DIT framework also, like it kind of reminds me of like ADA framework as well, right? So I'll put that in the chat. But like ADA is like attention, interest, desire, and then action, right? And so yeah, that's exactly right, man. You pretty much nailed it. You're disrupting, you're stopping the scroll, and then boom, you're sending them to like some sort of opt-in or some sort of value that they're like, I want to learn more. Let me like register for this or opt in for this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Sweet. Appreciate you, Seth. All right, cool guys. Let's keep on rolling. So part 2, winning ads. All right. Hard truth. This is the reality. This is the actual ad world. Okay. Is that most ad tests fail. Okay. So I just want to throw that out there. So most ad tests fail. And I like to start with this because there are so many people that like try out ads and they don't get it to work, and then they just give up and they're like, well, this didn't work. This sucks. I'm done with this, right? I wasted a couple bucks and this just isn't for me. Okay. So I just want to drive that home that most ad tests fail. Now, with that said, okay, I've got a little story here. There's like lots of little animations here. Okay. So basically there's a cool story here. I don't know if you guys know a guy named Nick Fisher at all, but he was a marketing mentor for me. And we were working on a credit offer. Okay. So we're working on a credit offer and I'm launching ads and I just cannot get anything to work. I'm like, I launched this ad. It doesn't work. I feel like I'm wasting money. I launched the next ad. It doesn't work. I'm wasting money. And I'm just getting like, like I'm bummed out. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm just launching ads and stuff isn't working. And I'll never forget this. Nick walked up to me and he put his hand on my shoulder and he was like, dude, the ad that works is going to be worth infinitely more than the ads that aren't working, right? And that has stuck with me still to this day. And so it's something that I encourage you guys to think about, is that like, you're going to test stuff and it's not going to work. That's the nature of marketing. That's the nature of these offers. Like, you're going to try stuff and it's just going to fail. It's a part of the game. Okay. It's a part of it, but staying consistent, sticking to a plan, getting dirty, getting your hands dirty, eventually you're going to get to something that works, right? And when that works, right, when you strike gold, it's going to be worth infinitely more than all the stuff that didn't work, right? So I hope that sticks with you guys. But just know that, like, keep on going, keep on trying stuff, keep on testing, and don't give up. So yeah, success leaves clues. There you go. All right. So here, oh, wait, sorry, what was that?
Oh, I just wanted to ask you, like, if an ad is not picking up, like, I don't know the length of time that an ad should start getting like immediate response or whatever, but how long do you leave an ad up that's not actually producing?
Yeah, great question. So my typical answer for this question is what you want to do is you want to try when you're testing stuff out, right? You've got to first off understand what's the cost that you're willing to pay for that goal. So we've talked a lot about like booked calls and like book a call funnels, like so far in this presentation. So I'll stick with that. So if you know, okay, hey, look, I want to spend $100 to get a booked call, right? If you're testing an ad and you've spent 3 times what your CPA goal is and you're testing, I would shut it off. So meaning like if you spent $300 and you still don't have a booked call with that campaign, not going to work. That's typically I mean, it's obviously everything's like, you know, it can change, but like what I'm trying to get at is like, that's a general rule of thumb to stick to is like, if you've spent more than 3 times your CPA or your cost per action, then it's likely probably not going to work. But that question though is a very deep question, and there's a lot that we can talk about in terms of like what are some early metrics that you can see to know if something's working or not, right? Like what if your click-through rate's really low, or what if your cost per impressions are really high and you're paying a ton for your ads to show, right? There's a lot of little signals and things that you guys like can see, but I don't want to dive too deep and get in the weeds there. That's a really good question.
Thanks.
Of course, man. Of course. All right, sweet. So these pictures are old. I need to update these pictures. This is from like 5 or 6 months ago, but this is like an example of what it looks like to get an ad to work, right? So like for this campaign, this is specifically for a health offer that we run. You guys can see here, the ROAS is like a 6 ROAS on 405 grand spend. So like we spent 405 grand on these ads across January 2020 to February of this year. Right. So I took this screenshot in February, but in that time, right, $400,000 spent on the ad and a 6x return. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to drive home is like, when you get it to work, it's freaking awesome. Right. So don't give up. Okay. All right, sweet. Other really quick example. Here's another client that we've worked with. This was for 132 grand in spend with a 4.73 ROAS. Right. So just want to show you guys what that looks like. Okay. Channels that we use. This is a big question that we get all the time. What ad channel should I be on? Where should I run my ads? And Bobby, if I'm doing bad on time, just let me know, by the way. If I'm like,
Good, man.
Doing good? All right, sweet. Cool. So primary channels we use. So Facebook, Instagram, Google search, YouTube, and TikTok. Okay. And almost pretty much in that order. Okay. That's pretty much like the primary channels that we use. We do use others as well, but these are the ones that we pretty much stick to. Now, I don't know if this presentation gets into, no, it doesn't. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to mention is that like as shiny channel syndrome, I like to talk about this a lot. So you guys have probably seen ads where people are like, you got to use YouTube ads, like YouTube ads are better than Facebook ads, or you got to use Facebook ads, they're better than YouTube ads, or you got to use TikTok, that's the new thing, right? And I feel like it's kind of like a shiny channel syndrome, right? Like people get like deer in the headlights sort of thing, like, oh, it's YouTube. I got to get on YouTube. Like that's going to be the thing that solves all my problems. The reality is that all of this stuff works. Like we're running ads on every single one of these. All of these can totally be profitable. And my personal recommendation, honestly, is getting started with meta ads. So Facebook and Instagram. I see that as being typically the lowest barrier to entry for most people. So that's typically where I recommend people start. And it's because you don't need video. Okay. You can get started with like images, carousel ads, and just some good copy, right? So anyways, those are the channels that we typically use. If you guys have questions about like channels and stuff, throw them in the chat. All right. So, oh yeah, go for it.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You said meta ad, that's on Facebook, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Like
Facebook, like in the last like few months, they rebranded to Meta, right? So Meta is kind of the umbrella company now that owns Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp and all that fun stuff. Yeah, similar to how like, I don't know if you guys saw Twitter just rebranded to X. Like, I don't know if anybody saw that. It's just like super random. So Twitter is like no longer called Twitter. But that literally was like 2 days ago. So like, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, everyone's renaming their stuff, man. It's crazy. So, but yeah, Facebook and Instagram, I highly recommend, is a great place to start.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. So long form copy. So Tyrone, this kind of goes back to your question of like, should you have a really long landing page? Like I mentioned, I really like long form copy in the ad. So I think on the front end, really using longer form copy is really solid when you're doing high ticket. Now, if you're doing e-com, right? Like if you're running a Shopify store and you're selling t-shirts, don't do long form copy. Okay. Like that's like, hey, we're running a special X% off, click this, right? But when you're running high ticket and you're really doing an education-based sell, longer form copy is where it's at. Okay. This is a really quick flow that we like to follow if you want to screenshot it. I'm not going to necessarily go into super big detail with each of these, but a flow that I really like to go through in my ads is 1, I hook them in. 2, I build excitement about what's possible. 3 is I'll provide some education so that they understand that like I actually know what I'm talking about, or the whoever the brand is knows what they're talking about. 4 is a reframe. This is huge. I will talk about this for a second because I think it's really valuable. What I mean by reframe is that when you really understand your target audience, with your target audience that they are going to believe certain things, right? So if you think about your offer right now, your audience, like when they're going through whatever it is that like the process it is that you're helping them with, you know that they believe something. Okay. Reframing is one of the most powerful things that you can do in marketing, where you basically say, hey, look, everybody else says that you need to do it this way. That's not true. Here's the reality of the situation. And then basically you reframe their existing belief into something new. And when you do that the right way, and you actually successfully do that, it builds an insane level of trust, because now this person's like, oh, no way. Like, I didn't think about it like that before. Like that totally makes sense. So reframing, really powerful. Okay, cool. After you reframe, then you do a reveal. Hey, this is what I have here. With high ticket, it's usually something like, hey, by the way, I filmed this case study that I want you to check out, or hey, I've got this ebook that I want you to download, or whatever the reveal is. Then you do the call to action. Go ahead and click the link below, push some urgency. Hey, spots are limited. I'm only doing this for so long, whatever, insert urgency thing here. And then another call to action, right? I love this flow, works really great. So yeah, screenshot that. Okay, cool. Creative style, I'll go over this really quick. You guys see this all the time. If any of you guys use social media, then you see this short form video with subtitles. Super easy to do. You don't even need a video editor anymore to do this, guys. Like, you can download the Captions app on your iPhone and just like do this. So like, do it. It works. It's the format that pretty much everybody is posting organically, and it works really great in ads as well. Does that last slide work for webinars also? Really good question. So my short answer is going to be no. So webinars are a little bit of a beast to write. I think in general, like the flow is kind of there, but like when I'm writing like a VSL or a webinar and I'm thinking about like a 20 or 30-minute presentation, there's a lot of kind of like emotional ups and downs that we throw in there, but kind of a little bit. So, but yeah, there's more to it for sure on the webinar or VSL side. Cool, but good, really good question. Yeah, I love the questions in the chat. Keep them coming. All right, sweet. So creatives. So yeah, definitely check out short form video with subtitles, Captions app. It's great. You can also do static images. You can also do things like motion graphics. With motion graphics, it's a little bit more advanced. You guys don't need to mess with that. Just stick with, I would say, static images or short form video. Again, that's why Instagram and Facebook are so powerful, because you don't have to have video to launch. Okay, that's huge if you have good copy. Because a lot of people, they just don't want to film video, right? They just don't want to do it. And so, so if that's you, Facebook and Instagram. Okay, apps to use. Here are a couple of apps that are either free or cheap. So I already mentioned Captions. That's the second one here. CapCut, it's a really cool editor you can use on your phone. You can do transitions, cuts, etc. You don't need a video editor essentially to get some really basic stuff done. Obviously at scale, having video editors is amazing. But like, if you're like grinding it out and you're trying to get an offer off the ground, like use this stuff. So CapCut, Captions, it's really great for like getting auto captions in there with style, right? So you can get like the Alex Hormozy type like subtitles and captions with Captions. And then teleprompter for video. So this one's really great for all of you guys out there that like, as soon as you hit the record button, you start fumbling, right? That's me a little bit, to be honest with you. So, so if that's you, teleprompter for video, it's an app that you can download. You literally can like copy and paste your script there, and it'll just like roll your script in front of you on the iPhone, and you can read it. And it if you do it right, it really doesn't look like you're reading. So that's a really helpful one if you kind of feel like you're getting stuck or you're not in a groove and you're having a hard time with filming. Cool. Hopefully those are helpful. All right, sweet. While we're still on the topic of Adrian, you feel me? You feel me? She said amen. Yeah, that's me too. Okay. Lex, you too. All right. All right. So you need tracking. So this is kind of final note on the ad side, guys. So if you run ads at all, or if you've ever run ads, you probably know that like the actual tracking and results that you see on platform, whether it be Facebook or Google or any of it, it kind of sucks. Okay. So like, and the world that we live in is going more towards, it's probably not going to get any better. And here's why, is because everybody is voting for more privacy, right? No one wants to be tracked anymore. And because of that, companies like Apple and everything, they're making restrictions on the ability to track, which means that people like the Facebook pixel and like your Google like tracking, right? Like your tags and stuff, they're just not going to be as good as they used to be. Okay. And what that means is that if you're relying on Facebook or Google to tell you, hey, like, what's my cost per call? Hey, how much am I paying for every lead that opts in? You can be in a pretty messy situation if you don't have some additional tracking in place. Okay, so I just want to warn you with that. There's a lot of really great tools out there. Hyros, Triple Whale, Northbeam, Wicked Reports. Check them out. My personal favorite, if you're going to ask me, is Hyros, mainly because also our team is Hyros certified. So we're really like pro Hyros. But what I guess I'm trying to say here is if you're taking your ads really seriously, like try looking into some additional tracking. It's gonna be helpful. Seth, what's up, dude?
Real quick, are these apps or like websites?
So they're websites, yeah. So they're
Gotcha.
websites. So like you can go to like hyros.com and just check it out, or triplewhale.com and check it out. But basically what these do is like they're platforms that you sign up for, and then they're gonna give you basically snippets to install inside of your own funnel or your own website, and then some parameters to tag on the end of your ads. And then they basically track deeper and more accurate results than you're going to get from Facebook. Okay. So for me, like right now, if you're going to ask me, if I'm tracking a call funnel and I want to know like how many calls came in and what I paid for them, I'm trusting Hyros 10 times out of 10 over Facebook, like every single time, because I've just looked at both forever and I just know that like Facebook is not right. So yeah. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. If you guys have more tracking questions, just let me know. So yeah, Tanisha, so Facebook doesn't do ample tracking. It's basically just like they try, but it's just not as good anymore because of the new like security and like privacy stuff that's happening pretty much, you know, they want to have great tracking, right? Like it would be great for them if they did, but it's just getting worse because people are like opting for being like, no, don't look at what I do. Right. Which is good. Like privacy is cool too, but it kind of sucks for advertisers. So, cool. All right. Part 3, winning funnel. This is the last piece. And then we'll kind of dive into just open Q&A here. This has been a ton of fun, guys. I'm having a freaking blast. If you have questions, just keep on throwing them in the chat. All right. So funnel, this is a standard VSL funnel. So, I'll hang out here for a second. You guys can screenshot this if you want. This is my favorite funnel. This is my favorite funnel that we run. It's the bread and butter. So many people will tell you like, oh, VSL funnel is like, older or, like and whatever, but like just telling you guys doing this for years and like looking at all of these different funnels and like trying a bunch of stuff out. This is just what has worked for me every like time and time again. So I always come back to it. Okay. So what is it, right? What is a standard VSL funnel? VSL, I said it earlier, but if you didn't catch it, video sales letter is what VSL stands for. So let's go over it from left to right. So you've got your ads running, okay, on platform. Someone sees your ad on Instagram, okay, they're going to click it. I like to see a 1.5 to 3% CTR or a click-through rate, okay? That's kind of like the range that I like to stick in. After somebody clicks your ad, they're going to land on a landing page, okay? That landing page, I like to keep it pretty simple. Tyrone asked about that. I really like it to be simple. So for me, I'm basically doing a hook. Like, hey, I'm going to show you how to do X without this. I'm going to show you how to get this result without this pain. Just go ahead and opt in below, and I'm just going to walk you through the free training, right? Now on this page, you can choose to just get email. You can choose to get name, email, phone, right? It's up to you. It's been pretty popular lately to ask for name, email, and phone. A lot of people are going for like setter teams where they're just dialing out lots of opt-ins. But that's the landing page, okay? You're just basically getting them to be like, I want this, so I'm going to opt in. All right. After they opt in, the very next page that they're going to is the VSL page. Okay. So this is the video sales letter page. It's a very basic page with a video on it. And it's essentially anywhere from like, I would say like 10 minutes to an hour, right? I like to stay personally in the like 15-20 minute range for VSLs. That's kind of like the sweet spot that I really enjoy. VSLs have been trending as getting shorter. So you're seeing a lot more people with like 5 and 10-minute VSLs. I've seen some of those work too. Some of them absolutely crush. But for me, my sweet spot's always been about like 15, 20-minute long video sales letters. These are kind of the most important thing that you can honestly probably focus on in the funnel. So if the video sales letter is not good, none of the rest works, right? So we talked about that being the case for messaging and copy. Like, this is why, right? Because your messaging and copy goes into the VSL. And this is the thing that's going to basically determine if the person wants your stuff or not, or if they trust you or not, or if they think that you can help them or not, right? This is the big thing. So do this part right, do the video right. After they watch the video, right, there's going to be a button that pops up below. It's like, hey, really hope that this helped. If you think that we can take this a step further, awesome, click the link below. See you on the next page. Next page is the booking page. On this page, it's going to be a really simple calendar, probably like Calendly or Schedule Once, something like that, right? And that in that step, basically, what you're doing is someone's booking on the calendar, and then you're going to ask application questions there. That's a question I get a lot. So if you're wondering, hey, where are you asking for application questions? In the booking form. Okay, it's a really great way to do it, because now you're basically saying, hey, you're not allowed to book with us unless you answer these questions. So that's a huge thing. And then once you take it a next step further, you can start doing cool stuff like lead scoring and like qualification and all that fun stuff. But that's the booking page. After they book, then they're moving on to the confirmation page, the success or pre-call page. This is a detailed page. It's probably got a little video of you where you're basically saying, hey, thanks so much for booking the call. I can't wait to dive into this. Here's a couple of things that I want you to do to prepare for your call, right? And you're giving them pre-call homework or prep step information, right? Which is basically your way of saying, hey, I want you to do a couple more things before you get on with us, right? So you're getting them a little bit more invested with their time, and those steps should basically teach them a little bit more about what you do. All right, so that's the funnel. After they book, then obviously call with you or call with a sales rep, and then they purchase the program. Only piece on this that we didn't touch is after they opt in, right? There's going to be some automations that happen. So the lead's not seeing this part yet, right? But when they opt in to go to the VSL page, at the same exact time, you're taking that opt-in information and you're plugging it into an email drip sequence where now you can follow up with them, right? So immediately, right now, what you're going to send is whatever they opted in for. So if they're opted in for a training, boom, right away, you're going to send them an email delivering them like what you actually said you would deliver, like fulfill on the promise, right? Okay, then after that, it varies, but typically what we like to see is like, you're going to build authority, you're going to build trust, send them to some things. Like if you did a podcast or you did like something that you want them to watch, right? Like include that in this drip. If you did a valuable YouTube training or you have a video that's like helping people, include that in the drip. If you've got testimonials, include them in the drip, right? And then the whole goal of the drip, what I like to tell people, and then I'll open this to questions. I know I've kind of been a lot here, and this is like a fire hose of information, so hopefully it's not like insane, but I like to tell people that the marketing email drip sequence is like a net that like sits below your funnel. Okay, so as people move through the funnel, like the vast majority of people are not going to go all the way through it. Okay, that's what you have to understand up front, is the vast majority of people will not make it through your whole funnel. Okay, so the net underneath is basically catching people that don't make it. Like maybe someone opts in, they watch 2 minutes of the VSL, then they bounce, right? Well, guess what? Your email drip is sitting underneath, it catches them, and the whole goal is throwing them back up into the funnel, right? So that's kind of like the strategy there, is you want to have something that's kind of like a fail safe for the people that don't make it all the way through the first time. Cool, before we move on, questions on this? I know that was a lot. Dexter, what's up, dude?
Yeah, I'm working on my email drip sequence right now, and I was gonna follow the what Russell's soap opera sequence kind of framework, but I was gonna ask, is there any other like frameworks that we could maybe follow? I know you just mentioned like podcast value add things.
Yeah, dude,
those list of things?
So for sure, what I can do is, I know that like internally on our team, I've got like a standard like drip flow that we typically use. So I'll connect with my team and see if I can like grab like that, and then I'll just send it into like Bobby and Mike and see if we can just get that for you guys to use too. Oh, nice, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, for sure, dude. Any other questions on this page? Or are you guys like, I'm a VSL expert now, we're good to go?
I'm loving this right now, Caleb, because I feel like I'm like knees deep in this in my business. So I'm like, you're just going over it, and I'm just like, wow, this is fire. So
Let's go, dude. This is what I live for, man. I mean, like, this is just my all day, every day. So I can talk about this all day. All right, cool. Well, if you do have questions, pop in the chat. I'm gonna move on to the next one really quick. This is a secondary funnel that I like to run. So this is a simple lead magnet funnel. Okay, these are really, really popular. These are the best, in my opinion, at building lists for cheap. Okay, so if you've got a strategy where you're relying heavily on like email or follow-up, this is a really great way to get cheap opt-ins. Okay, because why? Because people like free stuff. Okay, so the goal here is it's a pretty similar funnel, but that your ads are going to a landing page, but this landing page is going to have a little bit more copy. It's going to be a little bit longer than the one that we talked about before. But what this one's going to do is basically be like, I've got this amazing thing, right? So let's just say ebook, because I would say an ebook is probably one of the like more popular ones, like ebook, PDF, right? Like those sorts of things do typically really, really well for lead magnet funnels. But you're basically like, hey, right? Like, and I put together this ebook showing you exactly how to do this thing without having to deal with this pain point. It's totally free. Go ahead and put your information below, and I'm going to send it to you for free, right? This type of stuff, like if you do this right and you're targeting the right people, you can be getting like $4, $5 opt-ins, like really cheap. Okay, which like back in the day that used to be super normal to be able to get those all the time, but like not really anymore. So like getting $4 and $5 opt-ins now, it's pretty good. And I would say this is like the best funnel to kind of get you to like that type of like cost per lead. So what is this really good for? Okay, so we talked about being a good list builder. This is also an exceptional funnel if you have setters, or if you're going or thinking about doing a setter motion. Okay, why is that? Because after somebody opts in for a lead magnet, one of the things that you can do is say, cool, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you a text over with the resource. And that text can be an automated text or a manual text from the setter, where the setter is basically confirming with the lead via text before they ever even send them the asset, right? So if you've got an ebook and someone opts in, and you or a setter text them and you say, hey, I just got your information. I want to make sure this is the right number for me to send the ebook. And then the person says yes. Now you already have the opt-in, and you've got somebody that literally said yes, right? Like they've answered your text message. So you know they're like a real person that's willing to send you a text. And now you can actually have the like setter start to work those leads, right? So that's a really, really powerful tool. And it like means that you only have to send out your lead magnet to people that actually say yes, right? So you don't have to deal with like sending it out to people that aren't even replying to you. So that's a really cool thing. And then obviously like calls with a setter, qualifies them, explains the offer a bit. Cool, I think you're going to be a good fit. Sets you up with a closer. Boom. Okay, so that's another typical funnel. Email drip works pretty much the same with that. Only a difference being that on email one, you're going to deliver the ebook, right? Cool. What's going on, Tyrone?
Hey, that email drip, that can be set up to like top leads too, right?
Good question. I haven't used top leads, but I would assume so. Bobby, do you?
yeah, it's in there, Tyrone.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's in there.
Sweet. Thank you,
Thanks.
Dexter. Appreciate that. Cool. Yeah. So top leads really good. I think I might even get into this in a second in the presentation. I'm not sure, but I also I really like Active Campaign. MailChimp's a really affordable one too for getting started. Another really popular one out there is obviously Keep or Infusionsoft. That was kind of like the OG from like back in the day. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different tools that you can rely on for that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Of course. Sweet. That was lead magnet funnel. Anyone have questions about this one? Feeling good? Feeling groovy?
Ads class, single name. Yeah, good.
All right, cool. Some basic KPIs for this funnel type. Okay, we talked about KPIs a little bit before. I think it was Oscar. Oscar asked about KPIs, or like how do we dive into an offer and figure out what's working? Voila, here it is. All right, so KPIs for this funnel type. CTR, click-through rate. Okay, that's what CTR stands for. I like that for that to be like, honestly, it can be 1% or better. 1.5 is good. The lowest I'll really take there is 1. Landing page opt-in, we like to shoot for about 25%. 30% is really good. If you're getting over 30%, then you're having a party and things are awesome, and don't change anything. All right, cost per opt-in. I like to see cost per opt-in. Now this one varies. Okay, this one varies on the audience that you're targeting, which is a big factor into a lot of things, right? But like your cost per opt-in, I like for that to sit around like 10, maybe $15. at most, I like to be spending 20-ish in there. But once we start getting past $20 for the opt-in, obviously everything further down in the funnel starts to get more expensive too, right? Because the more that expensive your top of funnel stuff is, the more expensive that your bottom of funnel stuff is. So cool. So that's that. Cost per call, 120, that's pretty low. I also like to take like 180, 200-ish. If you're starting to get past 200, you either A, like probably need to do some optimization or tweaking, or B, it might be because you're already qualifying pretty hard. Right? And so what I mean by that is like, you might have friction in the funnel, or you might be qualifying people to a point where it's like, hey, I'm willing to pay more for the cost per call because I know that the people that are booking are like really good quality people. Right. And so sometimes what people will do is they'll add friction to their funnel or qualifying steps to make that happen. So like, for example, there's one health offer that we help. They're super cool with like $350 and $400 calls, but it's because the quality of those calls is super high, right? And they're closing like 10K offer on those. So totally up to you and your funnel type, but my like average that I like to sit around is probably like 180-ish. Okay. Sweet. Close rate on total bookings. I like to see this to sit between 10 to 12%. So if you got 100 people to book a call with you, you should be closing about 10 to 12 of the total 100 calls. Okay. That's not show ups. That's not like dealing with cancels or any of that. I'm talking 100 bookings, 10 closes. Okay. Sweet. And then CPA or cost per acquisition, right? So this honestly ranges anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,500 is pretty average for like higher ticket coaching offers with a VSL funnel. Like if you're at like 2K plus, there's probably some tweaking that needs to happen. Sweet. Okay, cool. Those are KPIs. Anybody have questions on KPIs? No? Feeling good? Cool.
I got another question, Caleb.
What's up, dude?
How do you, I know the ads manager shows some of these KPIs, but are all of these things that we can kind of expect to get it from our ads person or the ads
Amazing
manager?
question. And no. Okay. So amazing question and like kind of, okay. So I'll put a little asterisk there. So most of it, yeah. So like cost per opt-in, cost per call, though it's CTR, definitely ad related metrics. You can see those in the ads manager if you set up your events properly in the funnel and you've got your column views set up right inside the ad manager, you can see those things. Now, things like landing page opt-in, you're typically going to get from like whatever builder that you're using, like whatever funnel builder you're using. But this is like a quick, quick little hack though, because a lot of people don't know this. So Facebook allows you to do custom calculations in the actual ads manager. Man, I wish I had more time. I wish we had some more time because I would just like open up the ads manager and just show you guys. Because like basically like what Facebook can allow you to do is you can do like custom calculations to say, okay, how many clicks did I get and how many opt-ins did I get? And then you can show your opt-in percentage like inside of Facebook per campaign. So that's a really cool thing that a lot of people don't realize that you can do on Facebook. But most people, I will tell you, check that on the inside of ClickFunnels or Go High Level or whatever they're using.
I do remember actually seeing this in there now that you said it, the amount of like hits on a certain page and then the next page of the funnel. I remember seeing that. So
yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, that's exactly where it is. And then close rate, you're going to get that from your sales metrics, right? Like how many bookings did I get? How many sales did I get? Boom, there's your close rate. And then CPA, how much did I spend on ads? And how many customers did those ads bring in, right? Those are the only two stats that you need for those. Cool. Awesome stuff, guys. I'll try to fly through this. Let me see how much more we have. Let me see, just make sure like I don't want to miss anything super good here. Okay, yeah, we're pretty much almost done. I'll fly through these. So you guys can take a screenshot of this. This is kind of just like some sales booking tips. So for yourself or a sales rep or whatever, this is basically like some of the things I like to do. I like 45-minute time slots for my closer calls. I like for people to only be able to book 2 to 3 days out. This is a huge mistake that we see all the time with people is like, they'll be like accepting bookings for like 3 weeks from now. Those people are not going to show up. They're just not. Okay. So they're not going to show up. 3, full-time reps taking about 5 to 6 bookings per day. Really great closers can take more than that too. But I would say like average closers, like taking about 5 or 6 bookings a day. Top reps getting calendar priority. So inside of your calendar app, you should be assigning like the best closer, the best priority, meaning like if Sally is your best closer, Sally should be getting the most calls. Include app questions in the booking form. We talked about that. We already talked about prep step and homework recall, and then auto email and SMS reminders, basically just, hey, this appointment's coming up, don't miss it, right? Make sure that those are set up in whatever calendar app that you're using. So some of those calendar apps, Schedule Once, Acuity, Calendly, those are the big ones. A lot of people now that are on Go High Level, they use the one that's built into Go High Level too. But I would say these are kind of like the big ones that we typically see. All of them work. If I had to choose one, probably my choice goes to Schedule Once, just because I've used it the most. But I've used all of these and they all work. Okay, cool. Booking questions. So you're probably like, what app questions should I put on the actual calendar? Here are the ones that I pretty much use all the time. And important, multiple choice. Okay, can't stress that enough. Don't do free response. If you're wondering why, it's because later on down the road, when you're trying to look at your data, free response answers are a gigantic mess. You like can't organize your data at all because everybody said something different, right? If everybody answers multiple choice, your data is organized and you can actually go then and start to do some lead scoring, because you say, okay, everybody who answered C didn't close or whatever, right? But if your thing's free response, it's a mess, doesn't help you. You can have one free response if you want to like get their story or something for the sales call, but like I try to keep everything to multiple choice if I can. One, what is your current working situation? So like, are you employed? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you not employed, right? Like just figure out what they're doing for work right now. Two, what is your current status as a blank? So if it's a real estate education offer, hey, what's your current status as a real estate investor? I've never done a deal. I've done a couple of deals. I do deals in my sleep, right? Whatever it is. Number three, how long have you been following you or whatever brand it is that you're running traffic for, right? This is a big one, especially for the people who like have organic followings out there. There's such an incredibly high correlation in close rate to the people who've been following you longer. Okay, so if you have an organic following, like definitely include that question. And then lastly, this is the money question. How willing and able are you to invest in the growth of your business? I'm not willing and able. I can find the funds, or I have the funds and I'm willing and able to invest, right? Okay, final note. So we're out of time, but this is my final note to you guys. When you're running this stuff, okay, you've got a couple of choices: doing it yourself, getting experienced help, or hiring an agency. This is my best advice to you guys. If you're not spending like $20,000, $30,000 a month on ads, do not go hire an agency, okay? I run an agency and I'm telling you this. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because we have so many horror stories of people that come to us where they like are like, I went out and I hired this expensive agency to run my stuff, and it just like was an absolute train wreck for them, okay? So my best advice to you is that if you're like in the process of like, hey, I'm trying to get my marketing to work, trying to get my ads to work, trying to get my funnel to work, get like help and guidance. You guys are here on this call, right? So you're already like levels above like what most people do, but like do that here, do that in a place where you're actually going to just be able to get mentorship and guidance and like get your questions answered before you go out and start spending like $5,000 a month on some team. Because I'm just telling you from experience, like it really is only going to benefit you to hire an agency if you're already at a certain level of spend, right? So if you're going to spend money, invest into stuff like this, invest into education, get help, right? And that's my best advice to you. So cool, that's it, guys. I had a blast. I know we're out of time, but I'll answer some questions for a bit if you guys have questions.
So
Awesome.
this model that you have, right? This works for, I mean, this is basically like if you have like your digital products, like your personal products.
Yep, exactly.
Online.
Yep. So everything that I went over here was really out of the lens of like info, education, consulting, or agency type approach, right? So more like online digital product type.
Right. Now, one more quick question, right? You know, like most of the videos like that Mike produces, he's always on the video. He's teaching through, you know, in person. Which one sells? I mean, that's probably a crazy question, but because you have both some people that sell digital videos where they're not on the videos, just words and prompts. From your experience of what you have, which one works mostly the best?
So for like, you're talking about like the video sales letter piece, right? Like, should you be on it, or should it just be kind of like slides and words and stuff?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Great question. I think so. This is my personal opinion. first off, I don't think that when you're getting started, you need a big production. Okay. I think that that's great once you're at scale and you've got like a dope thing going on. If you want to make some cool videos with like editors and stuff, go for it. But in my opinion, when you're getting started, you just need a really good, compelling message. And I think that can be communicated through slides. I think it's cool to like show your face. So I don't know if you're familiar with like Loom, but there's like free tools out there where you can literally like have your face in the corner, right? And just kind of record like a slide deck. You guys might think this is funny, but the very first VSL that we launched for Jay Shetty was literally him in his like house, like he was in his living room or something, and he was just going through a Google slide deck on Loom, and he didn't even hit present on it. He was just like scrolling through the slide deck, like just like he was in the middle of editing it, right? And like that VSL ran for like 9 months and was like multiple 7 figures. So point being is like, production is cool. And if you're at that point where it's like, I've got like, let's do it. Like, let's just go for it. Then cool, do it. But I don't think that you need it to convert is my best advice.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
For sure. So like for me, spending the time on the message, spending the time on like what I'm saying and the value that I'm providing will always trump the like production quality every single time.
Okay, great.
Caleb, I had a question.
Yes.
Could a VSL sell a low ticket offer, and what is a low ticket offer to you?
Good questions. So yes, totally. Absolutely. In fact, I kind of gave a shout out earlier to a guy named Alan Sultanic. He typically does like longer form sales pages for something that's like $50 or less. And then page 2 is typically a VSL with like a little bit of an upsell on it. So yeah. And then also a lot of people will do their lander with like a mini VSL on there too, for low ticket. So to the question, will VSL sell low ticket? Totally. Absolutely. It can. For me, low ticket is anything that's really $2,000 or less. But what I would say is like traditional, like front end product, like Tripwire low ticket, I'm thinking is like less than $100.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Thank you.
For sure.
Any other
Question,
questions?
Caleb. Was it 2 days or was it 3 days that you said should be maxed out or max days to book on that calendar?
2 to 3. So like you
3,
can do
okay.
either one. I typically like shooting for 2, and then if like I'm getting like booked out too quickly or whatever, I'll go to 3. But
Okay.
yeah, I would say start with 2 and then like go to 3 if you feel like you're getting like overbooked. So
Changing it right now.
or the other thing too to look out for is if you only have 2 days out and those 2 days don't have enough slots available, meaning like the person doesn't have enough options to choose, that can also hurt your calendar conversion because people will bounce if they don't see a time that works for them. So so if you see that your calendar starts to dip in conversion with 2, then try opening it up to 3 days.
Understood. Gotcha. Thank you.
Of course.
Quick question from me. How long have you been doing this, Caleb?
Oh snap! Wait, who is that? Wait a second.
Seth.
Yeah.
That. Oh snap! Okay, sorry. For some reason, like your face and pop. I like seeing everybody's faces when I'm trying with them. But okay, Seth. Yeah. So how long have I been doing this? About 8 years.
Just curious. That's all.
Okay, there you are. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Seth? For some reason, like you weren't on the screen, and then like now you just popped up. So what's up, Seth? Yeah, 8 years. I would say like in the hardcore trenches of it for like the last 5 years, like where I'm just doing it all day long every day. But I've been in this like the info space for like 8 years now. Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else? Any other questions? No? All right. Awesome. Well, Caleb, thank you for bringing the fire today, man. I know you
Anytime.
dropped a lot of gems. I picked up a lot of stuff. I'm sure everybody else did as well. But you definitely brought the fire when it came to the ads, man. And I appreciate it.
Thanks,
a lot,
dude.
bro.
Yeah, seriously, I'm glad it was helpful, guys. Also, like, feel free to connect with me on Instagram. I'd say that's probably the place that I hang out the most. It's at Caleb R. Cruz. Just come hang out, guys. Chat with me, DM me questions. Like at this point, honestly, like for me, I just love helping people out with their offers. It's like I get a high off of that. So if you got questions, just like let me know. And yeah, I'll try to get some of those resources. I think I got a question about like the email drip framework. So I'll try to send that over to you guys so that you guys can have that. And if you guys have any other questions, if you're like, I missed this, what was your thing on that? Hit me up. I'll just send you guys some stuff. But I really had a good time today, guys. It was good to meet all of you.
Well, thank you. Great to meet you too, man.
Nice meeting you too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool,
Thank you.
guys. Have a good
All
night,
right.
guys. Nice to meet you.
Terrific. Everybody,